Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting interview by Financial Insight. My name is Mwelwa and I'm about to have a conversation with two phenomenal gentlemen. First, I'll be asking questions to the Honorable Minister of Tourism, and then I'll be getting some quick takes from the Director of Corporate Affairs at Zambian Breweries. So stay tuned right after this advert. As I'd indicated, I'm having a very interesting conversation with the Honorable Minister of Tourism. Honorable Rodney Sikumba, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, sir. Mwelwa, it's been a pleasure. I've been looking forward to having this interview.
Absolutely, and it's always a pleasure, for us to, interact with the Ministry of Tourism, and we thank you for always, inviting us to all the fantastic events.
Absolutely. I mean, what else can we do? What we do in tourism is something that we want to be out there, and there's no better person, or rather, no better institution or corporation that can actually disseminate information other than Financial Insights.
Thank you so much, and Mr. Tawanda Hojane, how are you doing?
Very well, thanks. Glad to be here. Very excited for the conversation, as Honorable Minister mentioned, and exciting things that have been happening here the last 2 days. So looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for many people that follow the work of Zambian Breweries, annually they always host a wonderful event. And this year, again, we're in Livingstone, which is about a week or so before this grand attraction. So I'm going to get straight into it to talk about the Mosi Day of Thunder, which Zambian Breweries has been sponsoring for several years. Now, just to get things going, Honorable Minister, how does the Mosi Day of Thunder contribute to Zambia's tourism sector?
Well, thank you very much, Mark. And I just want to declare interest. I think the first ever inaugural Mosi Dots, the Right Honorable Minister of Tourism, who happened to be just a mere citizen of the city of Livingstone, a resident, was part of the team that convened the first ever Mosi Day of Thunder. And over the years, I have seen myself being dragged into actually being participant of this particular Mosi Day of Thunder. And we're very delighted that Zambian Breweries has actually kept the tradition. Now, to speak to it in the present day, we're very delighted that our colleagues, our cooperating partners in the name of Zambian Breweries, have actually added to the list of events that we host in Zambia and in Livingstone specifically as one of the activities that our many tourists will be able to enjoy. We're talking about both the local tourists as well as the international tourists. And as such, we're very delighted that Zambian Breweries has kept the tradition, and we're looking forward to giving them the right support as it is always required.
Right, and obviously, because Zambian Breweries are the custodians of this annual event. What is your quick reaction, to what the minister said, as well as how the company sees its this particular event contributing to economic development?
Well, first of all, let me just say that Mosi Day of Thunder obviously is being anchored by Mosi, which is a brand that we're very excited and very proud about, especially because Mosi Day of Thunder is hosted here in Livingstone, the home of the Mosi 𝗪𝗪𝗄. So I think that juxtaposition of the brand and the ethos of the city itself creates an opportunity that I think is very unparalleled for communicating culture, communicating the arts, and really promoting tourism in the country largely. Coming to our partnership and our sponsoring and now hosting the event, we're always going to do Mosi Day of Thunder. It's become a national property. It's become a big date in the national calendar. It actually heralds the beginning of the festival season in the country now. So for us, it's a very, we're very passionate about it, and it's very close to our hearts.
Right. Now, obviously, because, the event is being hosted in Livingstone, and Honorable Minister, you are obviously the area MP. What would you say is, the sort of economic impact that Livingstone should anticipate?
Well, as Tawanda just mentioned earlier, this particular event cools crowds. When we're talking about crowds, the last I checked in terms of records, we're talking about 10,000 plus in one particular session. The lineup of artists who normally come there always get to draw people coming here. And I just want to give thanks to Zambian Breweries for having brought in what I'd like to call a local lineup, which a lot of us as locals really did enjoy. Now, in terms of economic benefit to the city, almost immediately you find that our rooms are taken up. All our restaurants, guest houses, lodges, every eatery that you find in the city is actually taken up. That in itself is an economy on its own. And I want to just indicate to you that also, because people come to view some of this, to enjoy the Mosi dot, it's always important that they actually see some of the natural sites that we have here. We're talking about the Victoria Falls. And traditionally, again, we've been working with Zambian Breweries. Anybody who actually purchases a ticket for the Mosi dot has automatic entry into the Victoria Falls. So that in itself, we could talk about 10,000, almost immediately we're saying 10,000 people are given an opportunity to view the falls. Who better to market the Victoria Falls than the Zambian themselves? So that is what we're talking about. So in terms of economic benefit, as Member of Parliament for Livingstone, we're very delighted that our citizens, our residents in Livingstone are actually going to fully participate. They endorse it. And I can tell you for a fact that they'll come in their numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously, Tawanda, Zambian Breweries does deal with several businesses directly. What would you say would be the impact of, having this event, especially from previous experience?
I think, look, the important thing to note here is the fact that we are encouraging local service providers to participate in the entire value chain of the Mosi Day of Thunder itself. For instance, this year we partnered with Yango so that we encourage responsible drinking, behaviors. Don't drink and drive. If you're gonna come to the show and have a good time, you'll also be able to get home safe, get back to the hotel safe by getting a taxi ride from Yango. You've got so many different eateries in the city of Livingstone. People will need to eat. People will need to, fill up, have their stomachs filled up, ahead of the show and after the show. That's also another part of it. There's also another dynamic around, curios, collectibles, etc. That's also, revenue being generated in a very short period of time, very concentrated revenue generation for local businesses. And there's a lot of other, auxiliary activities that will come into play that people can benefit from. So for the local business house in Livingstone, prepare yourself, get ready, polish up, make sure everything is in place, make sure you've got enough receipts, etc. Because really the traffic is going to be exponential, and we hope to see that benefit, trickling into Livingstone as well as the surrounding areas and just nationally altogether. So very excited about just that, creating that opportunity for revenue generation for our local business people.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Financial Insight does get curious when it comes to issues of sustainability. And, having hosted this event, for several years, Honorable Minister, we just want to have a better understanding in terms of how, if there's any measures that obviously from a government perspective that, have been put in place to ensure that the festival promotes sustainable tourism.
Well, I think in terms of sustainability has become a buzzword today. And I really embrace it in the sense that when you create something sustainable, it's for posterity. Children's children will be able to benefit and see what's going on. Now, I noticed that obviously one of the big challenges, I'll probably speak as area MP and the local resident here in Livingstone, the challenges that we've had for hosting this particular event in its biggest times is the issue of the venue itself. And that's the first accessibility aspect that we need to do. So we've been talking to Zambian Breweries to see how best we could find a specific area which will now be designated as a concert area, if I can put it that way, so that every year people get to know. As Tawanda mentioned, it sets up as a precursor for all the festivities along the year. Now that's one. The number two, obviously, is to see how best we could create solid partnerships. ZB alone cannot be running this show. We need to find other partners, especially within the tourism sector itself. In here, we also have our hotels, guest houses, who should be able to now come to the table and say, what else can we possibly do? If you're talking about doing activations for Mosi itself, we should be able to now know that at any given time, any guest who checks in a place like the Radisson should be able to know to say, look, there's Mosi Day of Thunder happening. Any person who comes in here, at the end of the day, we are marketing not only our own local brand, but we're marketing this particular Mosi Otunya, the smoke that thunders, out there to the rest of the world. This is one of our most prized possession, God-given natural resource we should be able to embrace. Who better to market it than the Mosi itself? So we're very proud about it. And that's the kind of sustainability that we're talking about. We don't want this particular event to die. We want it to see its entire life. And as Minister in charge of tourism for now, I should be able to give my unwavering support to you, Zambian Breweries, that we should be able to now deal with this matter very well.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Tawanda, ZB is obviously a listed company. When it comes to sustainability, how sustainable is, this Mosi Day of Thunder?
So, from a practical standpoint, there are a number of things that we've put in place just to make sure that we are, consuming responsibly, that we are disposing responsibly. So we will be having waste collection points within the grounds of the event itself. And all the patrons, all the attendees will be encouraged to deposit post-consumption waste into those bins. And all of that then will find its way to recycling centers to make sure that then it's handled correctly. That's from an extended producer responsibility standpoint. We all have a responsibility to take care of all our post-consumer waste. So from that standpoint, we just want to make sure that all waste is properly handled, and we leave the city of Livingstone the way we found it, if not better, cleaner, and more friendly for the locals and other visitors that will be coming in.
Right. Now, from a private sector, perspective, obviously, Honorable Sikumba, would be very curious to know, what sort of, support, government would actually give for such services. Because, you do have taxpayers that will obviously be attending there. What sort of, support would you be rendering to a private sector event such as Mosi Day of Thunder?
Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm happy that Tawanda brought in the aspect of post-consumer responsibility, extended responsibility from ZB. And ideally, what you will see is the attendees to these events will probably go to the falls. They might be carrying bottles or whatever it is. So we really want to encourage responsible drinking and obviously responsible disposal of waste. Now, with regards to private sector, I did allude to the fact that Livingstone is a tourist capital and everything around Livingstone revolves around tourism. So the private sector players in this particular area who would be able to support this particular endeavor that ZB is doing is to see what kind of CSR what CSR activities can be played or rather displayed here in Livingstone. I know for a fact that over the years, Zambian Breweries has been doing a bit of CSR whenever they're having this event prior to the event. But we're looking at having to get as many private sector players to join hands so that it becomes more impactful, which will obviously leave a mark in the lives of the residents of Livingstone, as it were. We've done a lot of some research or rather feasibility studies, which actually speak a needs assessment, as they call it, which speaks to what is required in here. We're talking about clean water and sanitation. We're talking about education, just mentioned but a few. Now, those are some of the CSR initiatives that we strongly believe should be put in place to be able to support our colleagues for Zambian Breweries. And ultimately, as it were, it's a case of understanding that, yes, this is run by a private company. However, what is very important for us as Minister of Tourism is to ensure that we have concerted efforts. That gone are the days where we compete. It's all about collaboration. And the moment they put in their best foot forward to say, look, this is what we're doing, everybody else needs to fall in line and then we'll be able to collaborate. And the only people who can actually put it together in terms of collaboration is no other than government. And this is the role that I'm going to play.
Absolutely. And, obviously for private sector, Honorable Minister, we must applaud you for, the work that the tourism team has done. We can see the numbers growing in terms of, tourism, tourist traffic, into Zambia. But from a private sector perspective, are you satisfied, Tawanda, in terms of, government's, incentives or rather initiatives around this, as well as, we understand that obviously, as the minister has alluded to, they're working with private sector. Any comments around that?
Look, I will speak from a Zambian Breweries standpoint and perspective, and we are very happy with the support that we're getting from government, where, we've always been supported. Honorable Sikumba just mentioned here that he's been part of Mosi Day of Thunder from day one. And we've enjoyed a wonderful relationship with Ministry of Tourism. We've bounced ideas off of each other. They've given us some very good input into some of the things that we're doing around Mosi Day of Thunder and other events put together, because this relationship doesn't start and end in Livingstone. It goes across the whole country. So very happy with the support that we're getting. And we are putting our hand up to say if there's any other way that you would love us to chip in and come in and support tourism, support the arts, etc. We're very happy to do that. So we're very, very satisfied, and we look forward to a more sustained relationship between private sector and public sector, particularly Zambian Breweries and the government through the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Arts, etc.
Right now, for this year's event, we understand that there's some new features that we're going to be seeing, and are you able to just tell us, what some of this year's elements for the Mosi Dot will actually be, Tawanda?
So let's start with what I'm wearing right now. This is the new merchant.
Yeah, you
we'll
mentioned.
be
Yeah.
having. Very excited about it. We haven't done anything like this before. And it's something that you can wear every single day. You can wear it at the show, post the show. It still speaks to the thunder that rolls here in Livingstone. Then for the show itself, there's three aspects that we've put in place that are very exciting this year. One of them is something that we're calling the mashup. So we shortlisted a number of Zambian artists, and then we really pushed the magic to the public for them then to speak into, who they would want to see collaborate on a song. So the 8 artists were put together into twos, and then they were at some point after the public spoke and decided who would pair up with who. They went into the studio, and they produced 4 songs which are going to be performed at Mosi Day of Thunder. And I'm very excited about them. I've listened to them. I wish I could play with them for you. But very excited about it, and looking forward to it. The second thing is we obviously have a dot experience. So 5 couples or 5 pairs get the chance to win for an all expenses paid trip into Mosi Day of Thunder. So your accommodation is paid, access to the show itself is paid, etc. You probably will get merchandise, etc. A lot of other things thrown into that. So we're very excited about that. That's also running, leading up to the show itself. And then there's going to be another experience at the show where we will have a separate location within the grounds of the show. And this is going to be a purely party location with DJs, etc. And it'll be on and on, party and excitement and good times. In total, we're expecting 13 music artists and 8 DJs that will be performing at the Mosi Day of Thunder. And like you said, Honorable, it's a completely local lineup. We made a decision strategically to use Mosi Day of Thunder to headline local artists, to promote local talent, and that's what we're keeping to even this year.
Right. And in our final question, Honorable Minister, we just want to get your summary of why the Mosi Day of Thunder is such an important event, and how exactly it's now positioned itself as especially positioning Livingstone as a tourist destination, as well as over the long term, what sort of long-term benefits from a government perspective do you see in Zambian Breweries continuing to support an event such as this one?
Well, I just couldn't help but get excited when Tawanda was just talking about how the whole event is going to be lined up, and I can you'll be rest assured that I'll be in attendance with a whole host of my team from the ministry, and indeed other government officials who might want, especially Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts and the like. Now, long term, what are we looking at? This event, as I mentioned in my preamble, is an event that has actually been listed on the calendar of events that we have in our country. And as Tawanda mentioned, we do a back and forth to understand what is going on. Ideally, the Mosi Dot used to be held during Easter, but then we realized that we don't want to put a strain on the bed space within Livingstone. So the idea was to decouple Mosi Day from Easter so that people enjoy Easter, and then those other ones get to enjoy the Mosi Dot, which obviously is accepted, and that is what is going to happen. Fantastic idea. Then obviously, because we put it on the list of events on our calendar, we've actually seen people coming from far as Botswana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia. Those are the revelers. And in fact, I wanted just to give you a heads up. Maybe from the socials, you may need to start telling them and say, look, all other countries are coming in, please come with your flags, so that when you do a shout out, those countries will be able to be sure. Then you actually see the entire lineup of non-Zambians who are actually coming to attend, especially within the SADC region. So we're very delighted that this in itself actually draws a number of tourists into our country. It draws a number of people into Livingstone. It makes them spend money here in Livingstone. And at the end of the day, what better thing can government support other than this that actually puts in money in people's pocket? As you mentioned, the economy, the curio traders, the Hungry Lions of this world, the ShopRites, the Choppies, all these others, the 𝗧𝗵𝗂 all these small eateries, the Zests, Tonga Bulls, everything, all those places will be chock-a-block because of what Mosi has done. But for me, the ultimate goal is we're showcasing a local brew that has its logo, which is obviously the iconic 𝗧𝗵𝗂, the mighty Victoria Falls, which obviously everybody else wants to see. And right now in April, yes, we went through the drought, but I can safely tell you that it's back to life. And this time around in the month of April, it's at its peak. So be rest assured to come and enjoy the 𝗧𝗵𝗂. And again, for all of you who are going to come for the Mosi Day, drink responsibly, come and enjoy the Victoria Falls with us. And when you're there, please do not wear a raincoat. Just go in there with your sweat gear and whatever it is so that you get baptized. And I can guarantee you when you get baptized by that thunder, Victoria Falls, all your sins will be forgiven.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tawanda, any final reaction to what the ministers just said? Because I know that right at the end, there's a little tradition that Zambian Breweries and the minister always do.
Yes. No, very excited, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for taking the time out to just speak to what we're trying to do here in Livingstone. I think it was no better time than now with the summit going on right now. I think it's a great opportunity to just speak to Mosi Day of Thunder's contribution to tourism, to the arts, to business, and to commerce in general. Very excited about this year's dot. I'll just really send out an application to everyone out there. Come through. Whatever it is you're doing, make sure you make the time, create the margin to come and enjoy some good, wholesome music. There's going to be lots of food. It's just a great opportunity to have a great time with family, with friends. We're in the business of creating platforms and creating moments for connection, moments of cheer, as we call them. And so this is one of those really, really big moments of cheer for Zambia, for the region. So I encourage everyone to attend.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, Honorable Minister Tawanda, thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of us is obviously the merch, the T-shirts that are going to be, be distributed, I think, at the concert, as well as, the flagship drink itself.
So this one goes to you, Honorable. It's got a Grow in the Night, Mosi in there. So, and then Mosi Day of Thunder at the back. Yes.
Okay, there we go. So it's going to glow in the night, right?
Yeah. There's also another one.
So Tawanda can just join me so that we just pop this.
Sure.
Okay, so this is, I think this should be the tradition. There we go. And for you.
Awesome.
So let's pour a beer in the glass. We need to have a beer. We need to have the head. A beer without a head is not a beer at all. There we go.
There you go.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Tawanda. To 2025 Mosi Dots.
To great thunders.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the annual tradition. So please stay tuned to the Financial Insight platforms for more updates on the Mosi Day of Thunder. I've been your host, 𝗪𝗆 Chibesakunda. Stay tuned for more insights and get to know.